Jacob Sanderson back in the office to think about DFS in week 15. We are on an unbelievable run of gold star plays. Added Jacoby Myers to the tally last week, which I guess he didn't really get there. He did have 9 targets, 3 rushes, and a touchdown. I think he could have been in a winning lineup, but I suppose he was not the absolute guy you had to have because Puka, Nakua, and Michael Wilson combined for 78 DraftKings points in and of themselves. Jacob, we are, you're back from London. You're back from, meeting your mysterious French girl on the plane. Daniel Jones doesn't have an Achilles. We are ready to get into week 15.
Yeah, I mean, last Sunday was easily about as bleak of an experience I've had watching football. I've had 2 of the teams that are most important to me suffer Achilles-based pain in the crucial games in the year 2025. I think I'm just excited for the new year, honestly. It's kind of where I'm at.
Valid. All right, let's go ahead and begin with honestly a game that should have been fun had Jaden Daniels played and had Jackson Dart not been reined in. But we have the Washington Commanders traveling to play on the road at the New York Giants, 2.5-point total here. This is my concern, Jacob, which is that we're going to have Kafka just basically totally neutering the Jackson Dart experience. No more called runs. Honestly, trying to limit his amount of time spent in the pocket, so fewer deep route concepts. Because obviously what Jackson Dart does as a 23-year-old is he's like, oh, well, it's not there, so I'm going to go. And it feels like what has been communicated to Kafka is if this guy gets another concussion, you're going to jail, dude. So that is my big time concern for this game.
I think that's a pretty reasonable concern. I do think that the limiting of Dart's designed rush rate, trying to be instructed to scramble less, is definitely a positive for his receivers. You're going to see like that drop back conversion rate go up, right? You're going to get more called passes. You're going to get a higher percentage of the called passes turn into actual targets. So I think that makes, guys like Wandale interesting. I mean, Slayton is like one of those like fine dart throws you could always have, whatever. Maybe I'm speaking out into existence. Did you know my 4th most drafted player of all of my advancing best ball teams is Darius Slayton?
I have a lot of him as well. Just because I was taking him a lot late. Sure wish those were Michael Wilson teams right about now.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'll have to check how many Michael Wilsons I'm advancing. Yeah, so I think there's like potential for this to be fun on the Giants side, just because the Washington secondary is so unbelievably atrocious. So,
dude, 9 diced them up. No, 9.
Well, he had like 130 yards, but
because the game was over. He could have got, dude. He could have had 404 had that game been in competitive. I'm not so sure.
But yeah, I played a McCarthy lineup in one of my 4 lineups last week. It didn't really go anywhere, but because of course I played it with Justin Jefferson, and even though the Vikings got like 31 points, I think Jefferson still had what, 3.8, something like that.
He had 2 catches for 11 yards.
Oh my god! I even overshot it with 3.8. It's 3.1.
Yeah. I actually think you can play McLaurin here. I know the Commanders look like the worst team of all time, so I'm just like throwing out anything from that game last week. But they are going to be a super condensed offense. No Zach Ertz here. Do you have it in you to play $2,700 Ben Sinnott?
I don't. If you heard the waiver wire show this week, we talked a lot about
Colson Yankoff,
to which Mr. Yankoff would be involved in the committee. And I don't think they're just going to yank him off the field, consistently enough for Ben Sinnott. So
all right, let me.
The way I'd play this game would be Dart, 2 of the 3 Giants, so 2 of Wandale, Theo, Slayton, and then McLaurin.
Let me toss something out to you then that maybe can convince you on Sinnott. Is this potentially a classic running back 3 becomes the running back 1 when the running back 1 gets injured situation in which Bates and Yankoff stay in their H-back blocking roles and Ben Sinnott is elevated from being an understudy to the primary character?
I mean, yes and no. I think Sinnott will run the most routes to the 3 tight ends. If for whatever reason, like God came to you on Sunday morning and was like, one of the Washington tight ends will be in the Millie lineup, you have to play one of them. Like, I would play Sinnott. I think he's the best bet. but I still don't think he's a great bet.
So the reason why I ask is, despite this being a 13-game slate with like literally an unending plethora of options at every position, tight end is actually not that great, because McBride plays Houston and Bowers is going to have Kenny Pickett and or AOC. Oh, I don't know. Maybe Kenny Pickett's better for Bowers, but
I mean, how bad?
how bad could it be?
Pretty bad with Geno. So how much worse could it get?
That's all I got for this game, though.
Yeah. One last out is just it's McLaurin over Debo for me. Solidly,
yes.
Giants play man coverage at one of the highest rates. You don't want to play Debo in a high man coverage setup.
Yeah. All right. A game. I'm actually prepared for this game to be very disappointing. The Buffalo Bills traveling to play at Foxborough against the Fighting Pat Caranes. 49.5 point total. Very high total. The concern I have for this game is the same concern I had the last time these two teams played, which is that despite having all-world, all-universe MVP caliber quarterbacks, Joe Brady, Josh McDaniel, Mike Vrabel, and Sean McDermott all have a strong fetish for running the ball. They prefer to run the ball. They prefer to, and in the Patriots case, you could say, well, maybe it even makes sense because the Bills' run defense is so poor. And only 2.5 Bills ever score fantasy points. And I mean, obviously, look, I don't have to tell you about the Trevion Henderson, Ramondre Stevenson split.
Well, yeah, and notably, the Bills. How do you beat the Bills? You beat them with explosive rushers. That's been the case literally all year long. So, what are the Patriots probably going to do? They're probably going to play a complete 50-50 split and give Ramondre Stevenson.
That's what the Chiefs did. The Chiefs said, Kareem Hunt, go out there and get it.
Just try not to win the game. So it's a good plan. We'll see how that works. And then, yeah, I don't know. I'm probably like not that interested in the New England side of this game. The only piece that I might play would be Trevion, just on the hopes that he hits a really big play. But the workload probably isn't that great for the price. But yeah, I don't think like the Bills' pass defense is great. I don't really want to play any of these receivers. May hasn't really gotten the designed rushing. He has to get through passing efficiency. So I don't know that I'll try to play him. And then the split makes it really awkward to play one of the running backs. But I'll probably play like one Trevion lineup, or at least he'll be in consideration. On the Bills side, I'm probably a little bit more interested just because the Patriots' run defense is really strong. I think that the Patriots' offense is still going to find a way to have some success, even if it's annoying for fantasy the way it gets there. That would force Buffalo to throw a little bit. So I would consider doing a Josh Allen lineup. It's just, whenever you play a Josh Allen lineup, deciding who to play with him is like just always impossible.
Right? It's Kincaid. It's Kincaid or no one now. Not with Kincaid back. It's Kincaid or no one.
But I don't know if I fully trust his health. So like he scored last week, but anyway, I think it would be Alan Kincaid would be my favorite way to play this game. I agree with that, but I don't feel as comfortable with Kincaid as you would early in the season. And I don't feel comfortable at all with any of the other stacking options. So
I think that is reasonable. I do kind of like Kincaid here. I also like Diggs at 6,000. I think he had like, what do you have, like 10 for 68 or something against them in the first game. He had a very good game against
better
them
than that. Better than that. Yeah, he lit them up. That's a good point.
And when you are whatever age he is, 32 off a torn ACL, sometimes the only thing that can get you out of the bed in the morning is pure good old-fashioned hatred. It's a very good motivating factor, and I think we're going to see some of that from Mr. Diggs. Another great game. I mean, this is basically a playoff game for these two teams here. The Baltimore Ravens, after losing to the Steelers last week, and if the Bengals lose this game, it's done. It's over. Shocking revelation that T. Higgins, after suffering his third concussion in 2 weeks, is questionable. He was limited in practice on Wednesday. Now
he might clear.
How I don't get it at all. And in my mind, I'm like, I got to see a Friday practice report for me to seriously consider T. Higgins playing. And if he does play, I think the benefit to us as DFS players is just a little bit of mitigated ownership on Jamar Chase. Cause like the T. Higgins thing is no way is T going to be the nuke guy 2 weeks in a row. Right.
Why not?
It's just doesn't really feel. T. Higgins is a fine player.
Oh, come on. Like, this is so insane that you don't think T. Higgins is good. Yeah, I don't know if T Higgins plays, then it's like the Bengals are a great team to play for DFS. They're a very boring team to discuss for DFS. Like,
Yeah, they have 3.5
because it's
players.
like every single week you can play Joe Burrow, and you could either play him with Jamar Chase and T Higgins. You could play him with just Jamar Chase, or you could play him with just T Higgins. Like that's all those are fine. I'm not really playing Chase Brown with Samaje back there. It's just like Chase Brown can get there and has gotten there. So it's not like it's off the board, but I think that he needs to run pure and seems to get a little bit over projected on some sites to me for what his role actually is when Samaje is there taking a decent chunk of it, and the price tag. So yeah, I would definitely do a Burrow stack. I prefer T to play. I just would prefer that it creates more variation in what types of stacks are going to be out there for people playing the Bengals. Because if it's just Burrow Chase, if T doesn't play, I guess Gesicki would be probably the automatic double in most of my Joe Burrow stuff.
I think that seems reasonable. I guess just a quick note here for anyone who would be thinking about playing Chase Brown. 2 weeks in a row, he's had like very large accidents give him usable fantasy scores. So 2 weeks ago, it was that I think they ran 85 plays on offense. Last week, while averaging 1.9 yards per carry, he happened to score 2 touchdowns in a game that he gave up over 45% of the rushing work to Samaj Pirine. It's a real he can't keep getting away with it situation, and I don't think he's going to keep getting away with it for the remainder of the fantasy season. A layer on top of that is a sneaky thing for Derrick Henry, who has absolutely no juice and no ability to be good at football left, is that Justice Hill and Keaton Mitchell are both injured. Now, Keaton Mitchell might be cleared to play this week, but if he is not, their backfield would be Rasheen Ali, Derrick Henry, and honestly, this is going to be, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to pull the running back 5 on the team. I'm not. I can't pull it. It is Jonathan Ward. Yes. So I would put Jonathan Ward's touches at 0. So we're in a situation where Derrick Henry could like realistically get 30 touches in this game against what is the worst run defense in the National Football League. I mean, God forbid. God, it's a good Henry spot. I don't think on a 13 game slate, even in a good Henry spot, he ends up being that owned on DraftKings, maybe a little bit more on FanDuel. Like 17% is way high and it's not accurate. And I do think that you can play $6,300 A Flowers for sure. Because Lamar looks a little healthy now.
He looked a little bit better. I mean, the guys you got to play. I mean, look, it just keeps happening. I mean, last week, the Bills had not only did Dalton Kincaid go for 41-1, Dawson Knox, who had no more than 37 yards at a game all season, goes for 6 for 93. The Bengals, they just give it up to the tight ends every single week. It's automatic. I don't see any reason to stop playing it until it stops, and it's not going to stop. So I think both Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, both are either super in play. Likely was really close to a complete nuke game on Thanksgiving if he just carried the ball.
Isn't that the story of his career? Isaiah Likely really close to a nuke game, but he did something really stupid. He stepped out of bounds. He fumbled the ball. He didn't make a football move. Like every Isaiah Likely game that is almost good is the same thing. He ends up doing a really bad job. Oh, and if T does not play, it's obviously Tinsley over Yoshi. It
is, but I would just be Gesicki over both.
Oh no, I'd be Tinsley because he is cheaper and fills a wide receiver slot. Like it feels like that's more valuable.
He's so bad. I mean, the last time that they had the Ravens game, it was just like nothing but throwing 20-80 balls up to Mitchell Tinsley and them falling harmlessly to the turf.
Yeah, but what if he wins? What if he wins one of those jump balls?
Yeah, I mean that's probably the right attitude to have. You know, that's probably the smarter approach is to keep an open mind.
He did the week before, so not the Ravens game, but the week before he did in fact win one of those. The thing is Yoshi Voss is like the most.
It's not Yoshi. It's not Yoshi. He doesn't earn any targets at all. He's like a Quez Watkins level target earner.
Jahan Dotson ass wide receiver.
Yeah.
All right. The New York footballing Jets.
Would you play Lamar?
Yeah. I think I saw enough.
You're back on bad Lamar.
I think I saw enough from him health-wise in terms of, like, avoiding sacks and stuff last week that I'm like, well, there's a nuke in there somewhere, I think.
Okay. I
Yeah.
haven't decided yet, but I'm thinking about it for the first time in a while.
Yeah. All right. Jets, Jags, 41.5 point total. Jags, I don't think in my life I would have ever guessed the Jacksonville Jaguars had it in them to be favored by 13 points against another professional football team. The most enlightening thing for our purposes here, and it's very sad given that it is a week in which we are trying to advance a bunch of our best ball teams, but Byshell Tootin fumbled last week on his second snap from scrimmage, was stone benched after that, only played on special teams. It was all LaQuint Allen as a running back too, and LaQuint is basically Rasheen Ali for all intents. Like, he does not get the ball. So we could pretty easily see like 27 Travis Etienne Jr. Rushes
I
here.
actually don't. I don't think it'll carry over. I think he'll be back in his usual role. It was like a complete downpour that entire game.
Are
I think you
are
get
are you are
get a jail out of free card after that.
are you coping right now?
I know. I'm just telling you what's going to happen. Like, we can revisit this next week, but I think we will see. Like, obviously, Travis Etienne's going to be the lead. He was the lead anyway. But like, I think you'll see it back to 2 weeks ago. I think it was just like young kid fumbles in this important game in a complete downpour, and they're like, all right, yeah, like enough of that for today. You know, but everyone that was involved in that game was like dropping passes and like it was horrible conditions. I don't know why you tried to do it without gloves. That seemed like a bad plan to me. It didn't work
Now,
out, obviously.
I mean, you know that this was the knock on Tootin coming in. He was a horrible fumbler.
Yeah, but that's his first fumble of the entire season. I don't think you get like banished from the world because of one fumble in pouring rain.
Well, what is interesting about that is that ETN at 6,500 with the market making the assumption that more of the work is going in that direction is going to be like huge chalk on underdog right now, which is a really great gauge for slappiness because it's only
Really?
slappies
Yeah, I
drafting
think
in the
that's I think
PRs.
that's just a really weird call. I don't think that actually makes sense. I think it's like I don't know that there's much of a basis for in-game fumbling based benchings to actually be carried over to the next
Carried
week.
over.
Like it's one thing if you're like Ramondre Stevenson maybe and you fumble like 70 times, but like your first fumble of the season, I don't know. I just don't buy it at all. I think ETN obviously is like a totally fine play anyways. Like he was like the same price last week and like I thought he was a fine play.
Mhm.
So it's not like he couldn't get there in his usual role, but I don't predict that he'll have more than like the 2/3 role that he typically has. I think that's going to be his lead role, which is totally fine at 6,500.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I think regardless, I think he's good. I'm probably not doing the Brees Hall thing this week. Um, I would definitely be back in on Jacoby. Think it's time to just write off. I'm gonna write off the Brian Thomas Jr. Mac Jones experiment. Yeah, Brian Thomas Jr. is just Travis Fulgham, bro.
I actually feel like I thought Thomas had the most. I mean, he looked great last week. He didn't get a lot
He
of
did he
targets.
did
Like
look pretty good
he
while
had that
Jacoby got 11
ridiculous.
touches.
Yeah, I mean, he had that ridiculous one-handed catch on the sidelines. He had another one near the sidelines on like a slot fade. Obviously didn't get the volume, but like just in terms of actually winning balls at the catch point, which is what he had not been doing the entire year. He did it really well last week. I don't know if that means I'm going to play him in DFS, but I'm getting Brian Thomas curious at the very least. So yeah, I don't know. I think either him or Myers are in play. Lawrence has been, you know, you never know with Trevor, but like he's been playing really well lately.
Sure. Yeah, whatever. Good for him. You got any
Yeah,
interest in running back the AD Mitchell thing this week?
yeah, I do. I do
Speak on that
definitely.
because I think I'm done. I think
Why?
not
Because he had
done.
one.
Not
He had one
no
down
no
this
no.
week.
I guess not done. What I would say is I'd like for him to be at a more appropriate AD Mitchell price and ownership. Maybe if he's actually
4,400
11%.
is pretty darn cheap for his overall usage. Like you just you average out the 4 games. You look at the route share. You look at the target per route run. Like he's like a high fives player on that usage. Now he's going to turn high fives usage into mid fours production more often than not. But Yeah, I'm definitely interested in AD Mitchell, and I'd be fine playing Tyrod potentially too if he plays, but probably just 81 offs or 80 with Jacoby or Thomas or Etienne.
Yeah.
I probably won't play Etienne because I'm guessing that his ownership will be higher than I want it to be because I think people will be thinking like you, even though if people weren't applying the fumble base logic, I would be happy to play Etienne in his typical $6,500 ownership, but I just think he gets a little overowned this week.
All right, I clicked on the wrong tab. The Los Angeles Chargers traveling to play at Kansas City, 41.5 point total. Kansas City, 5.5 point favorites. I mean, it's just like an unwatchable, miserable football game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just brutal. Just like Amari and Hampton and Kareem Hunt trading 3.7 yards per
Not
carry.
even. Come on, even
Blows.
doll.
Yeah. Well, no, because Hampton was not in, like, obviously it was not fully in game shape last week, but I think it's going to tilt more in his direction. Maybe it will be more Vidal. I don't know. I do think the only play that you really need to know for this game is like, don't be scared by the 1 week dip in Rashee Rice production. He's going to get like whatever his 24 points or whatever this week.
Yeah. Could he get some hands though?
You know, there's a very interesting stat about night games at Arrowhead. This goes around every time. I believe Stats by Lopez is the progenitor of this. Night games at Arrowhead. If you just include that as a subset of games versus every other subset of games, it is the highest drop rate of every subset of games, which I think it's like a combination of one, it's always very cold. Two, maybe there's something weird going on with the lights. And honestly, probably three, it's that night games at Arrowhead are always big games and guys get tight and scared in the night games at Arrowhead. But which I think is honestly, I think Kelsey is just washed. I think in the case of Rice, I think this is the biggest game of my life and I am folding and I can't handle what's going on around me. That was my guess on Rashee.
Well, I was looking at weather for this game, and it's gonna be cold. It's gonna
be very cold.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 11 degrees Fahrenheit. But as I was looking at that, did you know it's gonna be minus 11 Fahrenheit in Cincinnati for the Ravens game?
Oh, that's actually kind of interesting.
Does that make you considerably more interested in Derrick Henry?
That makes me more interested in Derrick Henry. That makes me less interested in Lamar
and Burrow and Chase and Higgins.
I actually think Chase is like whatever. I think Chase is just a dog. Like I don't care about that. It's Lamar in particular.
I mean, it makes me maybe more interested in Higgins because how will he even notice his concussion symptoms if he's just completely frozen?
He's just shaking. He's like, what? It's like whatever. Who could tell?
They're like, are you fencing? He's like, no, I'm really cold, bro.
No, I'm not fencing. I'm just very cold.
I just don't want to be here. Actually, what if he's like, you know what? Like he looks at the forecast, minus 11, comes in Sunday morning. He's like,
my head hurts.
I'm reporting some symptoms.
I'm reporting.
Yeah, get me back in the protocol. Rescue me, dude. Rescue me. Concussion protocol. It's too cold. Oh my god. Yeah, that sounds miserable. All of these games sound miserable. There's gonna be a lot of really cold ones this week. Yeah, this game. What? I'm curious your thoughts on this. What the hell happened to Rondé Gadsden?
It's just overall passing volume stuff. Like Ladd and Keenan and QJ have also been shit. Justin Herbert's passing totals. This will be a good bit. Justin Herbert passing totals over the last month of the season: 139 yards, 151 yards, 81 yards, 220 yards. He has only had over that time frame, he has 4 passing touchdowns total. Like I think it's just as simple as
bad.
It's just been a bad offensive environment. I don't think there's anything and I don't think it's getting any better, by the way. I don't think
their tackles are hurt. Herbert's hurt. Herbert looked, I thought, like pretty out. I mean, I know they won the game, but I thought he looked pretty bad actually on that Monday night game.
Dude, I cannot fucking believe that Jalen Hurts did not do me that solid. After how many times I've been to the mat.
I can't believe that shitty ass little quarterback couldn't come through for you. That non-top 40 quarterback at that third string. I would rather start a 45-year-old Phillip Rivers than that fucking bum. That's for sure.
Oh, dude, that was one of the hardest watches.
Oh yeah. Did you enjoy the reporting that they're going to move on from Hurts? They're going to draft his replacement. Seems like something you do with a good quarterback.
They are not going to do that. That is definitely not happening.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I guess Kelsey, I
Checking in
guess,
on the
is
state of
playable
Jalen
too.
Hurts Nation. Yeah, I would be fine playing Kelsey Rice. I really missed that month where it looked like Patrick Mahomes was back. That was a fun month.
Well, maybe if his guys could catch like one pass, maybe he would be back.
Yeah, I don't. So the Chargers, I'm not playing any members of their passing game at all.
No, you could get away with Hampton, I think.
And I don't think I'm playing either the running backs either. I think that Hampton will see more of the work this week than last week. But Vidal had several good plays. He was much better in pass protection than Hampton was on Monday night. So I think that's going to keep him ingratiated. Speaking of shitty games, this next one.
Speaking of, I thought I was going to be able to coax an apology out of you guys, and then Caleb Williams throws an interception at a very inopportune moment at the end of the game. The Cleveland Browns, and okay, you guys are going to have to apologize to Shadur. I've already done my Shadur apology.
I'm not apologizing.
Traveling to play at the Chicago Bears. 39.5 point total. I mean, I can only assume the weather in this one is going to be even worse because it is even further north. I'm assuming that this is going to be like negative 19 degree wind chill.
Minus 15 Fahrenheit, bro.
Yeah.
That is not acceptable.
So I'll give you the one and only play from. I'm not even going to try and do the
30 Celsius.
Don't make me do that conversion. I will give you the one and only guy from this game. I'm not going to try and sell you on Burden. Honestly, I don't even really like Fannin in this spot, but Judkins is going to be doling out body blows to the Chicago Bears defenders. Do you want to cape for the plan in here?
I don't know that I want to play anyone in a game. I did the math. It's going to be roughly minus 24 Celsius, which helps me contextualize because I don't understand how Fahrenheit works. That's like impossibly cold. I don't know that like that's going to be a hospitable fantasy football environment in minus 15 Fahrenheit at kickoff. Like that's cold. If I had to play any,
here's the last game I can remember.
I guess it would be Fannin, but like that.
Here's the last game I can remember at these temperatures.
Yeah, and not a lot of fantasy value, if I recall, in that.
24, 89, and 1 out of Pacheco. You get that out of Judkins.
Pacheco got there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess Rashee Rice had a huge game. I didn't even remember that.
8, 130, and 1. Obviously,
okay, we know Rice can play in the cold, so we can play him.
The Chiefs can play in the cold. They're like really good at it. What you don't want, I'll give you guys the hack, and this is actually very simple. You can look this up. Any of these guys who got recruited from the state of Florida, you go back and look. Right. The guys
do you think DeAndre Swift enjoys the cold? I have a feeling he's not what I would call a mucker. I think Kyle Manungai would enjoy the cold.
DeAndre Swift played in Philly,
Georgia.
Played in Chicago. I mean, he signed 2 cold weather contracts. Manungai, Rutgers.
He didn't sign a contract in Philly, to be fair. He just got traded there.
He got traded.
Yeah, Manungai is like if you were to say like who is an NFL running back who would really enjoy the cold, Kyle Manungai would be top 5 on my list.
Where did Kyle Manungai go to high school?
He went to well, probably like if you go to Rutgers, I assume you went to high school in New Jersey or close to it.
He went to Don Bosco. So Kyle Manungai was like a prospect. Shout out. I don't know how he ended up at Rutgers. Means. Don Bosco Prep is like one of like the high school football teams.
Okay. Well, he's just lifelong from New Jersey. He was born in New Jersey. He was a 3-star prospect. So I guess he didn't have that many good options.
Yeah. That's all I got for this game though. This game.
Wow, he's a smart guy. The 3 other options that his other top 4 is recruiting. So clearly he had gotten like accepted to all these were Cal, Harvard, and Princeton.
Shout out to Kyle Manungai, dude. No wonder he's so good at running the inside zone stuff. He can see all the angles.
Yeah, like that dude's a genius. Like, okay, so I would potentially play Dr. Strange Kyle Manungai, just as we've talked our way into this. I don't. Missouri's a little chilly, right? So can we play Luther? We can definitely play Loveland. That is a Michigan man.
Yeah, and Luther is from St. Louis as well. I don't know. It's to me, it's more about Caleb, who was a California kid, Oklahoma, California.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see. I don't think Shedeur is a guy that loves the cold, if I had to guess.
Colorado? They were born and raised in Florida, though, I think, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. All right. The Las Vegas Raiders traveling to play at the Philadelphia Eagles. It again brings me no joy to report this. But just put your Saquon in your lineups, except that he's getting 27 rushes for 88 yards, with one of them being a 57-yard rushing touchdown. It's going to be painful for everyone. It's going to be like pulling fucking teeth the whole time. But yeah, Saquon is going to be
Saquon's
optimal
fine.
this week.
Saquon is totally fine. This is the last of the cold games. This is going to be 12 Fahrenheit. So we have Bills, Patriots, Commanders, Giants, and Raiders, Eagles are all projecting to be in the 15 to 20 Fahrenheit range, and then it's the two mega cold negative games are the Cincinnati and Chicago games. That's your weather update. Obviously Saquon is totally fine. AJ Brown's just been seeing like sick usage for the last 3 weeks. He didn't capitalize on any of it in like very tilting fashion last week, but I'm like pretty much back to viewing AJ Brown how we viewed him going into the year at this point. He's seeing up back to his 30% target share. Not efficient last week, was very efficient the previous 2 weeks. Would be one of my favorite plays.
Can I interest you in Ashton Genty, who is like loves the cold?
Can.
Yeah,
you
Genty.
You can always interest me in Ashton Genty, especially at 5,800 versus a rushing defense. I don't know if they're going to get Jalen Carter. Is he going to play this week? Do we know?
Didn't he have to have a surgery, Jalen Carter?
Yeah, so I'm going to lean no. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
They got absolutely destroyed, pulverized even by Swift and Manon guy. And then Hampton and Vidal had a decent amount of success against them. So did Justin Herbert on the ground. So I'm pretty darn in on Ashton Genty this week.
Yeah, send it. I like the spot for Genty as well. The projections, the Run the Sims projections are always like a little bit overly bullish on Genty because he just gets so much of the running back
workload is like
yeah,
fantastic. Yeah,
it's like just hard to program.
Hey,
the
Tony
Raiders
Pollard
failure.
got there last week, so maybe it's
Dude,
time
that's
for the
true.
projections.
That's true. And then I'm not really into like Goddard or well, you know what? I could be talked into Bowers. I could probably be talked into Brock Bowers this week.
Yeah,
I could.
That? I just so rarely spend up at tight end on DFS, which like maybe actually that should be a lesson for how I play basketball next year. It's like I spend my entire summer talking about the joys of early tight end, and then it's like, do I ever actually play an expensive tight end in DFS? Like pretty much no. So something to think about for me, something to ponder on over the off season. But I think Bowers is fine. AJ, I'm like pumped to play. I think you could play Smith too, but I'm AJ over Smith right now, decisively.
All right. Well, speaking of expensive tight ends, the Arizona Cardinals, without their left tackle, Paris Johnson, travel to play against the best defense in the NFL, the Houston Texans. They're 9.5-point dogs. Woody Marks is questionable. Sounds like Nick Chubb is already out. Sounds like the injury he suffered against the Chiefs was not great. I would need to double check that. We might get Marvin Harrison Jr. back this week from the heel injury, which would be obviously a disaster for Michael Wilson Jr. because he'd have to go back to his old position. Assuming Marvin Harrison Jr. does not play, this is like the worst possible matchup for Michael Wilson and Jacoby Brissett. Are we going to do it again?
I don't think I can do it at 6,600. That's just really, really expensive. When your like whole thing is dependent on kind of like a psyop. It's too bad he's gotten that expensive. He's obviously earned it, because what I'd actually like to bet on eventually is Marvin returning and like them finally just being like, okay, enough already. Like we're actually just going to use Michael Wilson instead of Marvin Harrison as the wide receiver one in this offense, given what Michael's been able to accomplish. But I don't think I assume he's still going to be owned if Marvin doesn't play, and that's a pretty expensive tag against Houston. And then if Marv does play, he won't be owned at all, but that's just so expensive. So I don't know. Probably not playing any of the Cardinal stuff this week. They'll probably shove it down my throat again. That's probably where I'm at. If I was to play any Cardinal, I guess it'd probably just be Trey McBride. I do like that this will be a game that is unaffected by weather. I think that you can play whatever you want on the Houston side. I mean, if Mark's played, he's going to have a massive role. If he doesn't play, we could literally be playing Daria Gumbawale in the year of our Lord 2025.
There's got to be something else they can do. There's got to be
the audio listeners. I really wish you saw Davis's face when I suggested that. He just looked repulsed. Like he looked like he'd eaten like a catfish from the river and then found a garbage bag of poo inside of that catfish's mouth.
Let me tell you what's going to happen. Because do you know who the running back 4 on the Texans is?
It's Cody Schrader.
2024 SEC leading rusher, Cody Schrader. Or 2023 leading rusher, Cody Schrader is the running back 4. Cody Schrader gonna be everyone's gonna be learning some names. I like Cody Schrader. He's definitely a better runner than Dario Gumbawale.
Most are, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe minimum salary. Maybe Jaden Higgins. Jaden Higgins has kind of been.
Will he get it, or will it be Schrader, or will it be British Brooks? Because they have this other guy, British Brooks, who has like been playing mostly as a fullback, but he's like running back size. He's 5'11", 225. He played running back at North Carolina. Like not a lot, but like he was the kind of backup, like change of pace back to a Marion Hampton in college. So they've converted him into a fullback.
In his last 6 years of organized football, he has 146 rushes.
Oh, you know what? I'm mixing him up with someone.
You're mixing him up with
North Carolina, but I'm mixing up with Britton Brooks.
Britton Brown.
Why the fuck is there a British Brooks and a Britton Brooks? That's insane.
I mean, they almost have to be brothers, right?
Like, yeah, maybe. Like,
no, I think it's Britton Brown, dude.
Britton Brown. What the fuck is this shit? Like, this is
so Britton Brown. Britton Brown was UCLA.
He was the UCLA guy, and he was more of a running back. Okay.
Yeah. Avoided that catastrophe. All right, Jacob, your team, the Indianapolis Colts, 14-point dogs on the road against the Seattle Seahawks. Maybe, probably starting Phillip Rivers in this game. What's going to happen?
It's going to be bleak. I'll be there. I'll be at Lumen
Dude, that's
Field.
Insane that this is the game you're going to.
It's not like, I'll put it this way. If I hadn't already bought the tickets, and booked the hotel.
Yeah, how's the resale value on those?
I wouldn't have been buying them this week. I'll say that. But it'll be a fun couple days. I'll get to hang out with Gretsch on Saturday. That's really the main event at this point. And then I'll call you pretty drunk from the game on ship chasing. Probably get you at the start. Probably get you at half. Just let you know how Phil's moving around. Look, I mean, I have no idea who's starting on the Indianapolis side, but regardless, I don't think any of them are DFS playable. The only guy that I'd want to start in managed leagues would be Jonathan Taylor and maybe Tyler Warren. But I don't even have any real desire to play Taylor at $8,500 against one of the best defenses as a 14-point underdog with these fucking jokers playing quarterback. I think that wait, I just saw JS's base projection 27.63. Oh my god, that's a base projection.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm sure that
I'm not questioning it. Like, I'm just like, wow, that's a lot of points.
I'm sure that will get edited down to like some degree, but it'll still be like very, very high.
Okay. Yeah, I think he's a good play this week. It seems that the ownership is probably going to agree with that sentiment. But yeah, Charvarius Ward, just deeply sad, got his 3rd concussion of the year. He was placed on IR. Honestly, he might retire. And then Sauce is extremely unlikely, I think, to be back this week from the calf injury. They are going to get DeForest Buckner back this week. That'll help, I guess, against the run a little bit, and it'll help their pass rush a little bit. But their secondary, it's like we got 1 week of the Colts being a good secondary with Sauce and Ward playing together. That we got 1 week of that. We're now back to the early season secondary of just like a bunch of horrible practice squad level players. So JSN is going to completely roast them alive. I can't imagine playing a lineup without him. And the only question is just like, do the touchdowns go to AJ Barner and George Holani before they get up by so many points they don't need to throw anymore? But yeah, I don't see how he doesn't have 9 and 150 in this game minimum. And then it's just a matter of whether he can add 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 touchdowns on top of that.
I agree with that. I mean, obviously, you would be a little bit concerned about just like volume stuff, like this game, because it could get out of hand so quickly.
But like he's gonna get 8 for 120 on 2 drives.
Right. Yes. So I would see why that like wouldn't really matter. I guess the interesting, we haven't gotten to like the game of the week yet, but the interesting thing will be his ownership is not going to be too absurd because of Puka and St. Brown and Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
So like you're going to be able to play him at like relatively reasonable ownerships. The only thing that if I was to do a galaxy brain thought on this game would be like maybe Tyler Warren as like the short area. Phillip Rivers is trebucheting, like getting at passes out very quickly. Like he could have like 10 receptions or something.
If Rivers starts, I actually think it's probably slightly more likely that Leonard starts right now, but I don't know. It could go either way. Obviously, Run the Sims is projecting it to be Rivers. It could definitely be Rivers. If it's Rivers, that makes me like everyone in the passing game more. I think the only one that I would probably ever even think about in DFS would be what you said, Tyler Warren. But yeah, I think Rivers. I mean, he gives them the best chance to win, which is very little chance. But he would be the best guy, I think, for their offense. In my opinion, almost pretty clearly. The nice thing with Rivers is like he has a drop back conversion rate king. There's going to be very few sacks. I promise you, he has no interest in getting hit. And there's going to be no scrambles, absolutely zero of those. So that ball's getting snapped into his hands and that ball's getting out. Whether that goes to a Colt, a defense, or the sideline, who's to say? But that ball is getting out, and it's getting out fast. I mean, that would be the argument for Taylor is like, what if Rivers plays and Taylor has like 8 catches?
He could definitely get 8 catches of just like the most check down variety of all time. It's definitely possible. Not something I think I'm going to be trying to jam into my lineups at 8,500, but I can see it. All right. The Carolina Panthers traveling to play in the Dome at the New Orleans Saints. Tyler Shuckarino with the 2 rushing touchdowns last week.
The Shuck Demon.
The Shuck Demon, man. We got Tet, who I think is certainly playable. And then there was a weird thing yesterday where it was reported by, I think Underdog tweeted that
that Rico didn't practice.
Rico didn't practice, but then the official practice report did not have anything listed for Rico from the Panthers, like on their website and from the Panthers beat writer. So I'm thinking that was like just like a clerical error somewhere. Yeah. And then, dude, Devin Neal, back-to-back weeks of like straight up workhorse volume for Devin Neal.
Yeah, I'm definitely into Neal. I feel like I've been into Neal. I see Adam has completely capitulated to the Chuba takeover. He has Chuba Hubbard projected higher than Rico Dowdle right now. I wouldn't go quite that far, but I don't think you can play Rico at 6,600 with Chuba taking somewhere between 40 and 55% of the work and a lot of the passing work. So I think the only Panther I would consider in my lineups this week would be Teteroa McMillan. And then on the Saints side, we've seen Olave's target share really dip while playing through this back injury. That might be something I just need to see before I play. So I would probably be looking at, if I play Shock, I'm probably pairing him with Jawan Johnson more likely. And then I'm definitely into Devin Neal.
Are you into Olave or Jawan Johnson or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm more into Jawan. Just the Olave back injury the last 2 weeks, his target share has really fallen. If he gets a full practice in on Friday, I'm back in on Olave, but I need a full practice.
Vele Hive?
No, never. Refuse.
I capitulated to Vele a little bit last week. What can you do? I do think
over my cold dead body while I played Devon Vele.
So this is like a totally full.
Gotta believe in something.
It's like a totally full slate. There are not a ton of like cheapies on this slate, and there are a lot of expensive guys that you want to play. So I do think there's like a reason to play $5,300 Devin Neal, maybe more than normal.
I'm into Neal for sure. Oh, speaking of cheapies, you could talk me into the cokehead.
It's just it's so hard with the Panthers because you never know when there is going to be a game in which they throw the ball 19 times.
Well, this week, the Shock Demon is going to be piling up the points. So
you know what? That's true. That's true. Yeah, the Shock Demon. Shock Demon is not going to.
You go into battle against Shock, and you're going to need to put up points.
They're saying it more and more.
You can't bring a knife to a Shock fight.
No, you cannot. All right, the Green Bay Packers against the Denver Broncos. I'm
the
actually
worst game imaginable by two good teams.
It is, but I'm kind of interested to see like what happens if like a random explosive play happens early and both these teams kind of have to try, because Jacobs is 6,900. That's underpriced for his role. Harvey, coming off the best game of his career in terms of like usage and efficiency combination, is 6,000. I really like Harvey this week. It is like a very bad matchup for him. Yeah.
Okay.
But and Christian Watson just keeps getting there on like 3 targets a game.
Yeah, and also not a lot of routes. I think the Packers wide receivers, for the first time all year, everyone is healthy and active, and the routes are a nightmare. It's Watson, it's Dobbs, it's Wicks, it's Reed, and it's Golden.
They said LaFleur said that Golden and Wicks were like still battling, that they were not fully healthy last week.
Sure, I mean, and if they are fully healthy, then what? Then we just get an even more of a route split. Because like the routes were bad last week, even with those guys being limited. Like here, so this is last week's routes. 21 for Christian Watson, that was the team high. 19 for Dobbs, 17 for Reed, 5 for Melton, 3 for Wicks, 4 for Golden, 9 for John Fitzpatrick, 11 for Josh Wiley, 9 for Luke Musgrave. And a partridge in a pear tree. It's just kind of bleak. And then like, yeah, if you're telling me that Golden and Wicks, that their roles were reduced due to injury and not merit, and that next week, they're going to have larger roles. Well, I mean, all that, the only way that can come from is by reducing the already low routes of their quote unquote starting receivers. So 5-way split of routes is gross. I think that if you had to play one, like you can't depend on route volumes. You have to depend on efficiency. And I guess that's probably Watson or maybe Jaden Reed. But probably just bypassing the Packers pass catchers entirely, which means I probably have to bypass Jordan Love.
5,400 so that means Jordan Love, man.
Which is really fun. Like I love the idea of 5,400 Jordan Love. I just have no clue who the fuck I would play him with. I guess Watson, but
be Watson.
Yeah, but like I just don't. I hate the idea of playing a guy with serious route concerns, coming off an efficiency spike where I think he's going to be like more owned than he should be. But I guess if the ownership stays suppressed, then fine. We could do Love Watson. Jacobs, I'm totally fine with. Harvey's my favorite play in the whole game. I've been slamming him in. Yeah, I think people are still like too reticent with him. I don't really get it. The role is really, really strong.
It's Sean Payton. It's like they turn the game on, and they see Jaleel, and it's just so tilting to see Jaleel.
But like he had the most expected fantasy points of any running back last week. Like the role's good. It's way better than people think it is. People are tilted because Jaleel got that one random touchdown, and they like have weird things about Sean Payton. But like the role right now is very strong. He's playing the vast majority of the early downs. He doesn't lose any of the early down pass work to Jaleel. All he loses are like some between the 20s carries. The touchdown that Jaleel got, they they interviewed the staff about it. And like Coach Speak Index had it. They said basically it was just we wanted to get back on the ball after we got into the red zone. Jaleel was the running back that happened to be in the game, so we let him stay in the game because we wanted to get back on the ball fast. But Harvey is generally our preferred go-to in that spot. He's a little bit more stout. So like Harvey is their goal line back. He's also their early down receiving back. Like that's awesome. So yeah, super into him. And then Pat Bryant's not playing this week, so you could get back on Troy Franklin if you want to.
I don't think so. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think so on Troy Franklin. I think I'm gonna make Harvey my gold star. I'm gonna think about it before we get to the lineup. Unless you want to claim it.
I certainly want to claim it. Yeah.
Okay, you can have it because then my guy will probably come from this next game. Game of the year, really, in the regular season. We have huge, massive playoff and seeding implications for the Detroit Lions and the Los Angeles Rams, because if the Rams lose this game, they're very susceptible to losing the 1 seed to the Seattle Seahawks, even if they beat the Seahawks next week. Obviously helps, but really helps if they win this game, because then they can lose to the Seahawks and still get it. The Lions, I mean, they basically have to win this game. Yeah, it is
the NFC.
Yeah,
except fun to watch.
Let's pull up my favorite little tool here. So if they lose this game and win out, okay, maybe not as desperate as I thought. 95% to make the postseason if they lose this game.
Wait. Why is their baseline 39% if they could lose this game and win out and they have 95%?
Because they're touchdown dogs in this game.
Right, but they're gonna win all the other games.
I mean, that's just not the way probability works. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, but like there's also a probability that they win this game.
So if you do a 3-way money line of these 3 games, I would guess it's like what, like plus 200, like 2-1 or whatever. And then some percentage.
It's got to be high. It's got to be higher for this math to make sense, because it's not like they're dead to win this game.
Yeah. But regardless, we've got Puka coming off his best game in the season. We have Jahmyr Gibbs at 8,800. We have St. Brown at 7,900. He's had 10 days now to rest up on this ankle. We've got Devontae Adams, who just scores 2 touchdowns every week. We got Jameson Williams, hot button issue. We've got Kyron, who's losing a bunch of work to Corum. We've got Montgomery. How are you playing this 55-point total?
You know, is Kyron losing work to Corum, or is Corum just losing work to Kyron at this point? Who's to say?
You know, Kyron has still played more snaps and gotten more carries.
I know
every week.
I know. I'm aware. But I'm enjoying the split. It's nice. Let's do a full flip. How excited are you for 8 months of discourse about whether Jameson Williams had a strong second half of the season because Dan Campbell started calling plays, or because Sam Laporta got hurt?
I mean, I've just already made my decision. So
okay.
There will be
it's going to be a regular segment on ADP chasing on a weekly basis.
You know what's sick is that his Jameson season's a real Rorschach in terms of like the people who liked him said, he did what I wanted him to do. He had a couple of huge spikes, yada yada, became more part of the offense, whatever. Then the people like you are going to be like, he actually still sucks, and all the volume was fake, and it's going to go away when Laporta gets healthy. And look, they missed the playoffs in a year where J-Mo had to have a bigger role. So isn't that evidence that J-Mo can't take on a bigger role? And the whole time I'm going to be saying, no, I can't hear you. $6,100 Jameson Williams. If this ownership projection is correct, that's my gold star play is J-Mo.
Yeah, as it should be. That's your boy. Yeah, I mean, I have no issue with playing J-Mo in the current role that he has. Like, yeah, I mean, the Lions are like a condensed offense in that they only ever target their actual players. So like when you subtract one major player out of that, it's just been really fun that none of the Laporta stuff spills over to any of the tertiary guys, right? Like they still never target Isaac Tesla except for one time per game. That's always a touchdown.
And it's always a touchdown.
Yeah. They still never are going to throw to Khalif Raymond or Tom Kennedy or whoever these other guys are. And then they just don't throw to the backup tight ends at all. Like there's nothing going to Ferks, or, when Brock Wright was there wasn't much going to him. So like, And Amon-Ra is kind of already maxed out on how much volume he can go. So they basically just took Laporta's role and they split it 50-50 on Gibbs and Jameson Williams. And that is very fun. So it's literally all the pass volume goes to those three guys, and it's a really fun offense. So I have no objection to playing JMO in this setup. And the same goes obviously for the other major portions of the offense. Would love to have lineups with Gibbs, would love to have lineups with Amon-Ra. And Puka is probably like Puka versus JSN versus Gibbs is, as I feel like, going to be the big decision, right? And I feel like probably the one I'm going to prioritize the most actually is JSN, because there's other ways to get access to this game in a way that there isn't for that Seattle spot. Like, to me, that's just JSN alone. But I feel like you could thread it where JSN could outscore Puka even where this game goes off. But I have access to this game through like Adams and Jameson Williams or something.
I mean, I would imagine that JSN outscores Puka like a huge percentage of the time, even when this game goes over its total, just because of the way that they play. Like, Puka got the touchdowns last week, but they weren't cheat touchdowns. They weren't the Adams touchdowns. They didn't replace the Adam touchdowns. They were just, he got them in the course of his natural target share.
Yeah. Devontae Adams remains their goal line back.
Correct. Yes. It's been very bad for Kyren Williams. Yeah. I do you prefer to play Stafford or Goff if you're doing, I mean, because Goff does have, like, I don't know how, I guess it's because they run so much when they get in close, but like, he's not having this like unbelievable fantasy season.
No.
Yeah.
I prefer Stafford.
Yeah, I think I still prefer Goff
you
just
could,
for
you could
the
definitely
money.
play either.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. All right.
It's easier to make the Goff stack happen because like Goff, Amon-Ra, JSN,
Goff, Gibbs,
or
JMO
not
too.
JSN.
You could do.
Yeah, you could totally do that. Yeah, but like a Goff, Amon-Ra, JMO stack is like how much cheaper than a Stafford Puka Adams stack? Like a lot, right? Like
yeah, like 3,000 or something.
Like at least 3K. So that matters a lot. So you could definitely make the case for the Goff double. But yeah, who you put in it is definitely a question, because Gibbs, I mean, his passing game role has just been markedly better since Laporta's gone out. So you can include him for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Final game. We have the Tennessee Titans, for some reason, traveling on the road to play San Francisco 49ers. $9,000 CMC. To me, he feels like the forgotten guy on this slate. I think I see his ownership here at 22. I would definitely take the lower on that. Feels like with Gibbs and that game and like Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley after the big game, like it feels like McCaffrey tops out at like 18%. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's similar a little bit to what we were saying with JSN. Like, he's kind of the JSN at running back, where you get these three, hyper expensive guys in this smash game with Gibbs and Amon-Ra and Puka, Adams, I guess, too, really. And yeah, whereas you have JSN kind of in this island against this hapless team, and you have McCaffrey similarly. And I agree that I think that people are going to want to play into the fun game. They're going to want to play the expensive pieces in that stack. And then it's going to be really hard to play, multiple of Puka, Gibbs, Amon-Ra, Adams, and then have money left over for JSN or CMC. So I think that those guys get a little bit suppressed, even though in a vacuum, those are the two highest projecting guys in the entire slate. So yeah, I'm very into Mr. McCaffrey for pretty similar reasons as I am into JSN. And I would like to try and get one of those two players in all my lineups this week, I think.
Do you like Purdy Kittle or Purdy Jennings stuff at all?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I mean, the Titans, they're an interesting team in that teams will run a lot on them because you beat them consistently. But in terms of how you actually build that lead, they're actually much easier to pass on than run on.
Yeah. I completely agree. Jennings at like 5,200, 5,300, like he's been all year, has just like consistently projected really, really well. Because it turns out that the Ricky Pearsall game against Detroit, turns out there was very little signal there at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Sad, but the guy just does not really earn volume. Or maybe Purdy's. If you wanted to be charitable to him, you'd say Purdy's turf toe has been an issue, and he can't drive the ball and get it deep, so he's like more able to throw the stuff to Kittle and Jennings. It would be very charitable to give that, but maybe
we can put that one on the docket for other ADP chasing.
There's a good ADP
segments.
chasing.
Yeah.
All right, let's build ourselves a lineup on DraftKings. Reminder: if you comment down below and we win $1 million, you can get $10,000. Jacob, you have the first pick. What are you picking?
Phil Rivers. Just kidding. We'll do JSN.
All right, JSN. So I do need to think about saving a little bit of money. I could, if I wanted to make us have to do a global swap, I could do a Mitchell Tinsley, but I'm not going to do that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to slot in Bannon, because I think we're both like fine with that. There's not a ton of other spots to save money.
He played in Ohio. He's familiar with the cold.
Yeah, dude, you're telling me Bowling Green State University didn't play any? I believe actually there's like a really cool picture of Fannin playing in the snow. I know from searching to like find photos of him for thumbnails. So I'm going to go ahead and say he's played in very cold environments before.
I think almost certainly. All right.
All right. You're next.
Let's do, I'll do my gold star that I talked about. I'll do RJ Harvey.
All right. That should put us in a healthier salary range. And then I am going to toss in my gold star play. And if it's not really a gold star play because he's too owned, I'm sorry, but I'm going to do Jameson Williams at 6,100 DraftKings dollars.
All right. Jameson Williams it is. Okay.
We have 5K left per slot.
Let's get a cheap defense in this week.
Yeah, if we toss in a cheap defense, it would be like probably the Saints.
Sure, I'm good with that.
There we go. So we now have 5,700 left per slot.
Look, we might have to take this out, but I'm gonna see how creative you can get. Just to try something here. Christian McCaffrey.
All right. Well, let's just see what this gives us salary wise. So let's put in McCaffrey. Let's put in Goff. And what's going to have to happen is we're going to have to play a 2 tight end team probably.
Yeah.
Because in terms of like,
I bet that's going to be popular this week.
Yes.
Because people are going to want to play the Rams Lions guys, and they're going to want to play. You know who we can play? Colby Parkinson.
You know what? Let's do that. Let's put in Colby and see what that gives us at wide receiver. So 3,200. Wow. And that leaves us right there with Adonai Mitchell.
Oh,
Adonai Mitchell and Xavier Worthy, the same price in week 15.
Like they've always been linked. You know, you're 2 Texas boys.
It's true. You're not loving it. Ironically,
the Chiefs would be so much better if they had drafted Adonai Mitchell. He's like exactly what they need. They need like someone who can beat man coverage on the outside.
Yeah, and all their guys drop everything anyways. So like, what's the point?
He'd fit right in. Yeah.
Jared Goff, RJ Harvey, Christian McCaffrey, JSN, JMO, Adonai Mitchell, Harold Fannin Jr., Colby Parkinson, and the St. Stevens. I agree with you. Double tight end stuff is going to be very popular this week. Jacob, tell the people what they can find from you on Thinking About Thinking and The Athletic.
You can find my stuff up on Thinking About Thinking. The gauntlet just dropped, so I'm hopeful to get some more playoff basketball stuff up. I've been in a hearing all week, hence the shower look and the collared shirt. So hopefully, maybe this evening, I'll be able to get back at the computer, write some stuff up on the gauntlet. You'll definitely get the Hitchhiker's Guide on Saturday, as always, and for the rest of the season. And excited to start thinking about some off-season content and stuff. But for now, we'll charge forth at the end of the year, playoff basketball stuff, and then eventually FFPC challenge stuff.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Make sure that you like the video. Make sure you comment down below for a chance to win $10,000. And we'll see you back tomorrow. Later.